bug problem here. So I just paid for it. I didn't know I worked a lot.
We was wondering, why was you paying $300 a month? You told me you paying all this money. I understand your daughter got in problems. You was getting garnishy. But what I'm saying is,
I don't have any garnishes,
Stop
sir.
right
I don't
now.
have no
about
garnishes.
the orchid thing.
Stop. Court does call the case of Hannah Realty and Property Management versus Letta Boone.
In today's case, a tenant's 4 months behind, almost $9,000 owed, and blaming the bugs. Meanwhile, the landlord's representing himself illegally. Judge Simpson doesn't even need caffeine for this one.
I'm here, Lita Boone.
Lita.
This is about to be a mess. I can already tell. It's about to be a mess. And she owes almost 10 grand. And she's saying it's because of bugs. What type of bugs? You can just not pay nothing over some bugs? I never understood how people just let bugs take over their whole house and just are so afraid of these things that to you, you're Goliath from their perspective. But hey, let's get into it. This looks like it's going to be crazy. Y'all, before we do, if you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. It only takes a second, and it actually helps out more than you know. And also, if you could hype.
Lita.
Okay. Yes. You were just waiting to unmute to yell at me about that, weren't you?
I can't.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I got thick skin. I'm sorry, Lita. All right.
You see how she been? You see how she doesn't she seem so nice, so charming? From a landlord's perspective, when you're first signing that lease, that's how they're gonna be smiling in your face. They're gonna be buttering you up. They're gonna tell you everything. They're gonna sound like the perfect tenant, and then they get in your property and they owe you 10 grand.
Okay. You were just waiting to unmute to yell at me about that, weren't you?
I can't.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I got thick skin. I'm sorry, Lita. All right, now, where are we, Mr. Pantera, on this case?
This is not mine.
This is not yours. Whose is it?
This is the matter where they've been instructed to get counsel, Your Honor.
Where Hannah Realty's been instructed to get counsel?
Correct. Mr. Joseph Coram, I believe, is
he?
the owner.
Yes, Joseph is here.
Yeah.
Mr. Coram?
I'm the property owner.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
But this is in the... It's a corporation that owns this property, right?
No, the corporation is my property owner acting on my behalf. I am the property owner.
And your name is... I don't have this filed as that. I have this filed under the name of the property of Hannah Realty and Property Management.
Yes, because they represent me. Michael, yeah.
But the lease is between who and who?
Between Hannah Property Realty and Lita.
So my understanding is Judge Washington has instructed that you are to have an attorney represent the plaintiff in this case.
I thought she said we should reach an agreement and bring it to her.
Well, certainly that can happen, but if you are going to appear for another hearing, it's very clear to me that you guys were instructed to get an attorney.
When we said we didn't have an attorney, she put us in a different room. I said we should go and discuss it and come with an agreement.
Certainly. Do you have an agreement?
Yes, we do.
Ms. Boone, is that correct?
Yes.
All right. What is the agreement?
Michael, would you please read it out?
Well, okay. That's the property.
Well, I can read it out. I can read it out.
Yeah, well, you'll have to, because the property manager can't legally represent this corporation.
Okay.
That's who wrote the contract.
Oh my
Wrote
goodness.
what contract, ma'am?
That he's going to read out to us. The agreement.
Okay. What is the agreement?
That the agreement is that I don't owe the.
People be having full on corporations and don't know what they doing, don't know how to handle business correctly. Listen, man, what is he doing? It it just doesn't. And he's probably organized, but it's like, goodness gracious, like you got a whole corporation, and it's like struggling to keep up with what you're supposed to do. Just do things in the correct order, the proper way, so that you can handle what you need to handle and keep it moving. Business as usual.
The agreement is that I don't owe the 9. I owe 7,000. I think, and I don't have it right in front of me. And
I can
that,
give you the figures. As at October 1st, she owed 7,449.58. The agreement was that she would start paying $500 a month, and she has already started making the payments, $500 a month. And then from November 1, she will make her regular monthly payments in addition to paying the back rent of $500 a month until it is paid off.
Okay, what day is the 500 due?
She has already paid the first one.
Okay, but the subsequent months, what day is she supposed to pay the 500?
It's on the first of each month.
So she's got to pay her rent and 500 on the first of each month?
Yes, please.
The only way I'm signing it is the 500's got to be due by the 15th. If it's going to happen, there's no way somebody's going to be able to do that. Otherwise, she wouldn't be here.
And also in the contract, you stated, ask me how much I'll be able to pay. We never set a date. And today, now you saying I need to have the 18 and the 500. That's not in the contract that you sent me. So I'm confused right now.
Okay, I'm not sure what contract we're talking about.
We will agree to the 15th, Your Honor, the 500 by the 15th. So let's put that on record. In addition to the normal.
Yeah, it's not that difficult. See, and the judge understands how irresponsible people are. That they won't just save the money and keep it, right? So you got to schedule it out for each biweekly paycheck. So as soon as the check comes, it can come out. Otherwise, people are going to spend it, especially people who are already delinquent $9,000, right?
Rent, which is due on the first of each month.
Is that what you agreed to? What?
Well, we went into a Zoom room. I thought everything was unfair, but they said that
she flipped the script.
This is the way it is. So I don't have no more fight in me. So
all right, hold on.
Oh my goodness.
So
that's so disingenuous. She talking about I don't got no more fight in me. What are you fighting? Fight in you? Let me get this straight. You owe them $9,000 and they're arranging a payment plan. What's there to fight? I guess it's the bug claim or whatever. But I mean, let's just go back. Watch this. What type of bugs are we talking here? Because just from this, it looks like a very nice, clean home, don't it? So what? Every once in a while, are you like seeing a cockroach or something? Because that home looks very much livable, just from what I can gather from her Zoom.
So Miss Boone,
yes.
just tell me this. So you don't want to agree to this?
I mean,
okay, go ahead. What were you going to say? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I'm just agreeing to it.
Well, hold on. Talk to me, okay? I wouldn't ask if I didn't care.
It's just, I think it's a big.
And now she about to start crying.
So in the Zoom room, we had made a meeting. His property management told him that it was things in here that I spent a lot of money on paying to fix up this place. Well, first of all, I moved in unaware that it was infested with bugs. So I took care of that problem. So he did pay me back for that. And then I noticed like 2 weeks later, I had moved a barbecue grill and it was a big hole in the patio. So I paid like $1,500 to fix that. The washer and dryer and stove and refrigerator that came with the house was all didn't work. So I had to fix it. So that made me get behind in the bills. And then he just came and fixed the electricity and my bill was going up. It was $600 every month and I'm by myself. And I'm like telling him that it's a problem with electricity. And he just came and fixed it 2 weeks ago. And you can notice my bill went back down to 150 instead of 600 a month. So I've been paying him every 2 weeks that I can and stuff. And then one check he said he never got, but I just been paying him and paying him trying to catch up. And I couldn't never catch up. So I told him, let's go to court and get this settled because I'm constantly giving you guys all my money and it's looking like I'm never catching up and I don't know what's going on.
So what it sounds like.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. If all that's going on, then she has a strong case. She has a strong case. If it was an infestation, that's different than a couple bugs every once in a while. And she should be able to prove that she spent her money to make those repairs that she mentioned. So she should definitely get a credit for that. You know, as well as having to be there, add a little bit more, sprinkle a little bit more on top of it. But then I think we do need to factor in those electrical costs, right? If there was something found that it was forcing you to have to pay an extra $450 a month in electricity, then you need to add that on to it. But both of these people, the tenant and the plaintiff, it just doesn't seem like they're organized. I mean, all it would take, just set aside an hour and just get everything together. That way you can clearly and succinctly state your case, and it's organized and it's easy to absorb and it's easy to digest. And then we can evaluate it and we can actually take it into account.
Like to me, is there was not an agreement when you guys came out of that Zoom room.
The agreement was that he would take off because he said I owe $9,000. So he took off the Orchid bill and
the Orchid bill.
Yes.
Is that the pest bill?
Yes.
Why are you paying that anyway?
Because he said his property manager said that I didn't report to him that it had a bug problem. And then when I talked to Orchid, they said it was already a bug problem here. So I just paid for it. I didn't know I worked a lot. So I just want to live nice and comfortably. But for $1,800 a month.
I hear you. But
me too.
Well, that wasn't going to be on there anyway, or shouldn't have been on there because that's typically it's going to be the landlord's responsibility.
He said since I didn't inform him with these problems, which I did, so
okay. All right, I'm going to stop this right now. Sir, my understanding is Judge Washington told you guys to get an attorney.
We told him we will try and get
Did Judge Washington tell you, sir, don't play a word game with me. Did she inform you to get an attorney?
Yes, but then she said
hold on, and you showed up today without an attorney.
Sir, if I can answer, may I answer, please? She put us, when we said we didn't have an attorney, she put us in a Zoom room and said, go and get this settled and come back. And when we did, we asked Lita, would she be able to afford an attorney? She said, no. So we actually went through all this with her. And we thought we had an agreement. We signed the document.
You don't understand something. You have to have an attorney because it's a corporation that the lease is signed with.
See, I know he said his excuse as far as what that they went into the breakout room or whatever and they came up with an arrangement and that's what the judge had them do. That's cool. But I don't feel like it sounds like it's deeper than that. And it's just due to his business structure why he needs an attorney. And so he don't really seem like he listens, the landlord. So for me, it would be easy to believe, and honestly, he doesn't seem like he handles his business, and that he's like very in touch and familiar with his business, which would then make it seem like believable that all these complaints and all these things she's been having to do, he's slow to do that as well, and that she actually did have to come out and absorb that cost onto herself. So he's not making a good case. He just doesn't seem like he is like he doesn't seem like he handles his business the way it needs to be handled.
The lease is between a corporation and Miss Boone. It's between you and the corporation who filed this, however it got filed that way, has to have an attorney.
Yes, Your Honor. This is Hannah Realty and Property Management, Michael Hanna. Yes, when we were in there, the judge advised that because I had put my name on there.
Then why are you guys here without an attorney?
Okay, well, can I finish, sir? Your Honor, she said, okay, she asked the tenant leader, did you seek out counsel? And she said yes, but she didn't qualify. So she would have to obtain her own attorney. So then the judge told both parties, look, y'all need to work this out. You need to come into some type of agreement. And she put us in the room. So we went in the room and we came up with agreement. I mean, we stayed there for hours. And what Ms. Boone is talking about, which I know is really kind of like irrelevant, the Orkin, when she said, I said, we paid for the first remedy of these bugs. And I guess she reached back out to them and said they didn't do it right. And they told her something in which she had to pay more money and had her paying $300 a month or something on some type of contract with them. And I said, leader, why come you didn't tell me about this? I said, why you didn't tell us so that we could deal with them? If you saying they didn't do it right, but you enter into a contract with them without our knowledge, that's not the owner's.
That sounds believable. Think about it like this, right? We know that en masse, women aren't too good with cars, right? Especially when it's like things where you can like bring up the fear of what's going to happen. So I can understand where he's coming from as far as like, let us know. We paid for them to come out. If they didn't do it right and they're acting like they have to now come back every month, because she probably didn't have the bugs again, but they probably upsold her using her fear, right? By saying, well, but they can always come back. So you might just want to just do a maintenance where we just come out and we just maintain it and we keep doing it, right? Because they probably saw she was so fear, she was in such fear and such distress, and they might have capitalized off her fear monetarily. And so I can actually agree with that. Like, you should have said something if that was the case. Don't just bring it up in court, because we could have negotiated with them or figured out like, no, like if their agreement was that you're coming here and you're exterminating all these bugs and you're solving the problem, but then they then preyed off your lack of knowledge as well as your fear, because a lot of ladies have an irrational fear of bugs, then, I can kind of understand where they're coming from.
Why you didn't tell us so that we could deal with them? If you saying they didn't do it right, but you enter into a contract with them without our knowledge, that's not the owner's, responsibility. So that's what we
Mike,
got to
you
do with the work.
told me, Mike,
Well, we came up with the
that
number.
morning, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but the morning that I woke up and it was infested, I told you, look on my other phone number. I told you. You told me to call Orkin, but now you don't remember.
But we paid for that. We paid for that.
But you just told the judge that I didn't give you no knowledge of what was going
Not
on.
on the second
That's
time.
what I'm
No,
saying.
the
You're
second
confusing
time.
me.
No, wait a
The
minute. Don't be
second time, he
confused because
said
you the
that.
one told me. I didn't know nothing about it. We was wondering why was you paying $300 a month? You told me you paying all this money. I understand your daughter.
Oh, you getting emotional, dude. Keep talking regular. You going back and forth now. The judge is already at his wit's end. He don't want to hear none of this. He just focused on telling the attorney you was getting somewhere, but now you going back and forth. Because I think I'm tracking with him. He said, I think she might have conflated the first time, if I'm not mistaken. If he said the first time you told him and then they paid somebody to do it. She might have conflated that with then her continuing to use them. I might be wrong. Let's see. Unless the judge is going to cut them off.
No, wait a minute. Don't be confused because you the one told me. I didn't know nothing about it. We was wondering why was you paying $300 a month? You told me you paying all this money. I understand your daughter got in problems. You was getting garnishy. But what I'm saying is about
I don't
this
have any
about,
garnishes,
Stop
sir.
right
I don't
now.
have no
about
garnishes.
the orchid thing.
Stop.
But
You
that's what,
no, stop. What part of stop don't you understand?
Oh, hold on, Judge. Hey, y'all, we got to keep. Hold on. Wait a second. See, we might have a good little data point right here. If we watch another Judge Simpson video or go back, I want to see if he shuts the women down like that and just yells at the top of his lungs and just, I said, I want to see if he's like that all the time. Because he shut it down like, not another word. I'm curious if matter of fact, no, that might have been another judge. But let's get back into it.
Garnishes,
Stop
sir.
right
I don't
now.
have no
about
garnishes.
the orchid thing.
Stop.
But
You
that's
no, stop. What part of stop don't you understand?
Ooh.
I'm not having it. You guys are supposed to show up with an attorney. You don't have an attorney. Of rights, this case ought to be dismissed because you can't represent the corporation. That's what the judge told you before. And I'm not going to have you going around and around with Miss Boone and trying to throw her business out in the street and say she's got this and that. Not going to happen here. Not today. Judge Washington gave you the warning. I understand it, that you were supposed to be represented by counsel. She may have put you into a room so that you guys could agree to it. My understanding in listening to Miss Boone is that she has not agreed to something, or at least feels that she's coerced in doing so. You guys don't have an attorney. You keep trying to represent yourself. If you want to go ahead and commit a felony, because it's a 4-year felony for you to be representing a corporation, if you want to do that, you go ahead. You're not going to do that on my watch. Case dismissed.
Okay. I get it. I got it.
You can start over. Thank you.
I get it. That's why he was harping on it so much throughout this whole case, as far as didn't they tell you? Because they told you. Now, if you work something out, that's one thing, but it doesn't seem like she's in full solidarity with that. It doesn't seem like it's concrete. As well as the fact that you got to remember, these are clearly on Zoom calls. So I wouldn't be surprised if the judge prepared before and made sure, and it's 2026. You can get the transcript and look at the transcript summary real quick. So I wouldn't be surprised if he had already seen the summary of, no, she explained it very clearly that you cannot represent yourself. It's just that simple. And it just looks like these brothers are doing bad business. They're doing bad business, just all the way across the board. I would say that they are definitely at fault. They're not handling their business properly, and according to the steps that you're supposed to take appropriately. So what's going to end up happening is they didn't do it right, so they got to do it twice. It's just that simple. Y'all, if you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Only takes a second, and it actually helps out more than you know. And also, if you could hype the video, hype is a new feature that YouTube offers, where it helps smaller content creators like myself. And basically, when you hype, it actually pushes us to the extent that it pushes the larger content creators. So you just press the hype button and it shows the points. And since I am a smaller creator, a smaller channel, we get more points per hype. And hype was designed for smaller channels, so that's why we get more points. And then also, if you see a video and it doesn't have the hype button, the hype option available, then it's probably been 7 days, and hype usually disappears over 7 days. So it's usually best practices. If you want to hype, just go ahead and hype while the iron's hot. And then also Patreon's link below if you want to see self-improvement content as well. But until then, I'll catch you in the next video.